So in our Torah portion this week, Jacob, makes a plan. He knows he's going to see his brother Esau the next day. And so he makes 3 plans, because one plan wasn't good enough. First, he tries diplomacy. He sends a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of wealth and riches ahead. Then he tries tactics. He splits up the camp into 2 different groups so that if one gets attacked, the other one will get away. And his third tactic is prayer. He prays to God. And Rabbi Danny Landis of Jerusalem writes, he makes 3 plans because he's got 3 good ideas about what's going to happen, and absolutely none of them prepare him for the unexpected, the miraculous, the moment when, that evening, he encounters an angel and has to wrestle for his very life. So what can prepare him for that moment? Nothing less than the spark. Nothing less than the spark of hope and the spark of life. And this is what we begin with. We begin with the spark. We begin with the spark of hope, the spark of light. We begin by kindling the small lights so that they can fill the world even when our plans come to naught. And so we're going to kindle the lights of Shabbat all together. We don't have a lot of control over the world sometimes, but still sometimes we just make our best attempt to bring light and joy and hope into this world. And so to light our congregational candles, Les and Bev Rothschild, it's our pleasure to invite you. And for all of you who are here, these sets of candles, these are actually yours. So please, if it's the first time in a while and you haven't lit candles yet, if it's a tradition of yours to light every single week, if it's your first time here at Holy Blossom and you want to get to know us better, if you're a little bit afraid and you need a little bit of light in your life, now's a great time. If you just want to light Shabbat candles, now's the time to come on up and let's make the blessing together.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Top of 108. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basra Miyom Leyom Yeshuato. Oh, Safru Hagoyim Kivodo, B'chol Ha'amim Yifratav, Ki Gadol Adonai V'lo Me'od, Norach Hu Al Kol Elohim. La 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 110, sort of in the middle. Or Zarua. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. La 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 or Zarua, La Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, La Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Tzadik, Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. Ul Yeshrei Lev Simcha. La 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 And here we are in the middle of page 113, Romamu Adonai Eloheinu. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, V'hishachavu lechar kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, V'hishachavu lechar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, V'hishachavu lechar kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, V'hishachavu lechar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu.
There is a special moment during Lechadodi where those of us who are familiar, before the final verse, we stand and face a door. And there is a disagreement. Which door should you face to welcome the Shabbat bride? And some people say it should be the closest door to you. And other people say it should be the door that faces east. And other people say no, because sometimes the door to the synagogue is east and then I won't turn. And so therefore I need to turn away from east and I need to go west. This is, of course, how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. But the important piece is this, is that we prepare ourselves to receive something that we have been missing, to receive something that our life doesn't have during the week and that we receive on Shabbat. And we can sense that it is coming to us, and we sense that it will fill our 25 hours of peace and tranquility. And so when we reach that final verse, we will stand, and we will turn, and we will face one of those two wonderful doors. And from there, may the peace of Shabbat enter our lives. L'chadodi, page 115.
Shamor v'zachor midibor echad hishmiyanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilchad ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila Hitoreri, kivarei, kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai, alayich nigla. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'b'tzor olam toch emunei am segula boi chala
page 119. Please rise as you are able.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah potech sha'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ולילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשלוונו ובקומנו נצליח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, נגע יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone are our God. There is none else. And we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign. You deliver us from the hands of oppressors and save us from the fists of tyrants. You do wonders without number, marvels that surpass our understanding. You give us our life, and by your help we survive all who seek our destruction. You did wonders for us in the land of Egypt, miracles and marvels in the land of Pharaoh. You led your people Israel out forever to serve you in freedom. And when your children witnessed your power, they extolled you, they gave you thanks, willingly they enthroned you, and full of joy, Moses, Miriam, all Israel sang this song.
Adonai et Yaakov, Ugalomi et Chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
As the days shorten, the shadows lengthen, Hashkivenu Adonai. At the height of summer, in the warmth of light, the reasons for these words, they are harder to remember. On a warm evening, staring out at solstice stars, the dark does not seem so uninviting. But winter is here, and the chill has come, and the darkness is harsher, and the nights are longer, and I shut the door more quickly, as if I could keep the light inside. And so I turn to you now and ask with humble frosted breath, stretch out your wings and place them over me and those I love, and embrace me as I come in from the dark and return home to you once more. Page 126.
Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, L'shalom, L'shalom, Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu. Ufros aleinu sukat shomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam barit olam. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alamad yivrach irutei, ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayim. Sorry. Yeah. Doing the wrong. I'm just going to start again. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alamad yivrach irutei, ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yom echad, uv'chayechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvisman kariv, v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'alam u'lalam me'helmaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitroman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitala, shemei dekudesha, richu, le'ela min kol berchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, damiran mi'alma, v'imeru. Amen.
Amen.
Adonai Sifetai Tiftach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים הטובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור מחיי מתים אתה,
רב להושיע,
משיב הרוח, מוריד הגשם,
מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים.
סומך דופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללו חסרה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We remain standing and continue the Amidah silently through page 136.
Let's say Adonai Eloheinu ve'amecha Yisrael hu tefilata be'ahava tekabel. שפוך רוחך עלינו, ותחזינה עינינו, בשובך לציון ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני המזהיר שכינתו לציון.
And with that prayer, asking God to notice us, to rest with us, to be with us, we turn now to prayers of healing of body, mind, and spirit for these friends and families of our congregation. They are Rivka Bat Chana, Azriel Shlomo ben Tzvi Sholomit, Don Colt, Harav Asher Ziv ben Golda, Carmel Bat Avraham Basara, Chaim Michael ben David Aaron Bezelda, Aryeh ben David Veleila, Sarah Chana Zisel Bat Chaya Devora, Miriam Ilana Bat Tzvi Uvatya, Beatrice Barzilai, Amalia Shore, Mordechai Avraham ben David Levi, Shmuel Azar ben Yosef Yisrael, Mazel Bat Leah. We continue to pray for the wounded soldiers and civilians of Israel, and we continue to raise our voices in prayer for the hostages who have returned alive to us from Gaza. May they continue to heal in the arms of our nation and the hands of their families, and may their healing be a refuah shlema, one that is complete and total. Are there names to be added to our prayers of healing this evening?
מי שברך אמותינו בקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Our speaker this evening is a friendly face and a familiar face to many of you. Yair Luchtin, we are welcoming you back. We're glad to have you. Yair grew up here in Toronto before making Aliyah, and since then he has lived the dream of being a Yerushalmi, a Jerusalemite. Yair is a lifelong leader, having served the IDF as legal counsel for many years, and then after stepping back, he has been a leader in many Israeli reform organizations and global organizations, including Artseinu, the World Union for Progressive Judaism, Kehilat Kol HaNeshama, Karen Kayemet LeIsrael, the JNF, and until just recently, he was the chair of the IMPJ, the Israeli Movement for Progressive Judaism. Yair now serves as the chair of the Department of Irgun and Connection with Israelis Abroad at the World Zionist Organization, the WZO. He was selected for this role because of votes cast by members of Artsenu around the world, of which Artsa Canada is proud to be a part. His ability to serve as our voice in one of Israel's 3 major national organizations is proof of the effectiveness of your votes this year in the World Zionist Congress elections. It is our pleasure to welcome back Yair to Holy Blossom Temple. Shkoach. Shabbat Shalom.
It's wonderful to be here being at Holy Blossom, this time in my new capacity as a department head at WZO, the World Zionist Organization. And thank you, Rabbi Splansky, for inviting me to say a few words this Erev Shabbat. This week's parasha, the Torah portion, is Vayishlach. Like many, as we heard from Rabbi Kay, like many of the parashot in the books of Genesis and Exodus, this week's portion is filled with many, many issues and so many stories. Remember, friends, that we have previously learned that Jacob fled to the diaspora of Haran, having escaped his brother Esau's wrath after deceiving Isaac, their father, to believe that he was Jacob. He, Jacob, was Esau, the elder son, thus receiving their father's blessing. Now, 22 years later, Jacob decides to return to his large family to Hebron, hoping to reunite and hopefully make peace with his brother. On the way back to Hebron, Jacob has a meeting with an angel with whom he wrestles physically, and during fisticuffs, his name is changed from Jacob to Israel, quite literally, he who struggled with God. Later we learn of the meeting and relative response between the 2 brothers, and afterwards Jacob takes his family to Nablus, where they set up camp. Dinah, Jacob's only daughter, wanders into the countryside and is abducted and brutally raped by Shechem, son of Hamor, the local king. Jacob learns of this, but is silent. And then Hamor and Shechem come to ask him for Dinah's hand, and Jacob tells them he'll agree only if all the kingdom's men are circumcised, to which they unexpectedly agree. 3 days later, Shimon and Levi, 2 of Jacob's sons, enter the kingdom without getting their father's permission. They kill all of its inhabitants, rescue Dinah, and loot everything. We learn too that Jacob is angry with his sons for what they have done, fearing all his people will face retribution and danger for what they have done. The parasha continues. It's not the end of the parasha, but I'll leave it at that because there's enough material here for at least a couple of movies. At the end of August this year, I completed 2 3-year terms as chairperson of the Israeli Reform Movement, the IMPJ, and I'm very proud of what your movement and its 55 communities have done and are doing all across Israel, punching well above our weight and continuing to broaden our influence within Israeli society. An example of that influence began 10 years ago when 2 young Israeli Reform rabbis came together to ask a painful question. How can we, not we, but they, as spiritual leaders, speak about sexual violence with a Jewish voice? From that conversation, Bnot Dinah, the daughters of Dinah, was born. Named for Dinah, whose story in Parashat Vayishlach is the first account of sexual violence in the Torah, the group sought and seeks to give voice to her silence and to those who share her story, to explore why Jacob was silent when he heard what had happened to his daughter. This past week, this Shabbat, and this weekend, communities across Israel and around the world are marking what we in Israel now call Shabbat Dinah, standing with survivors, creating spaces of compassion and safety, and saying clearly, we hear you, we believe you, you are one of us. And I know too that this Sunday here at Holy Blossom, you are hosting a hybrid event of the world's leading experts on seeking justice for victims of social violence of October 7th. Kol hakavod, Rabbi Splansky. Aside from this particularly sensitive and essential learning from this week's parasha, I want to add some lessons I take away from it about leadership, responsibility, and humility. As I've already noted, after more than 20 years in Haran, Jacob, one of our three ancient patriarchs, decides to return home to face the music and an unknown reaction from his brother Esav, the brother who he unkindly cheated. As he begins that journey, he speaks with God, saying, I am unworthy of all the loving kindness and all of the faithfulness which you have shown to your servant, I, your servant, for with my staff I crossed the Jordan. Save me, please, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him that he may come and attack me, the mothers and the children. One word changes everything. I am unworthy, katonti. As Reuven Marco, my predecessor as chair of the IMPJ, the Israeli Reform, wrote today in preparation for Shabbat, Jacob has learned along his difficult path of labor and fear that true greatness lies in recognition of human limitations and responsibility. Jacob of Parashat Vayishlach understands that he is part of a family, part of a greater promise, and that his responsibility is not only to himself, but to all the house of Israel. This insight also places upon him an obligation to act. The contemporary comparison to this week's Torah portion cannot be missed. You may have heard in the news that this past week, our Prime Minister asked our President for a pardon, asking him to use the authority vested in him to stop all the criminal proceedings still facing the Prime Minister. I wonder whether any of you heard or felt that this request was accompanied by a simple katonti, I am unworthy. I'll leave it to you to decide, and we'll all leave it to President Herzog to decide on the PM's request. I don't envy him. As I noted at the beginning of this drush, very recently I was chosen by Artsenu, the global Zionist arm of the Reform movement, which includes Artsa Canada, and we heard what you must continue to do as we move forward, to represent it as the head of a department at the World Zionist Organization. My department is tasked with several responsibilities, two of which are A, overseeing the relationship between the WZO and tens of Zionist federations around the world, such as the Canadian Zionist Federation, and B, overseeing the WZO's relationship with Israeli communities outside of Israel. This week, I've already had the opportunity to meet with Israelis living in Toronto. It was fascinating. These are two huge tasks, and seeing as I only took on this position last Tuesday, I realized that I have an enormous learning curve before me. I'm here in Toronto on my way to the biennial of the American Zionist Federation, or movement, the AZM, which begins on Sunday in New York. As some of you may know, and as was noted, I made Aliyah from Toronto some 46 years ago, a graduate of both Bialik and Chat. And despite this being a very early stage in my position at the WZO, I felt it apt to almost begin my role at the WZO here in TO, to learn from my staff here in the city. And I hope you all know Yahav and Lior is a very proud member of Holy Blossom and head of my North American team of the WZO here, to meet with members of the Israeli community in the center and with leadership of the CZF, the Zionist Federation, and much more. On a very personal level, I had closure yesterday when we met with senior Toronto Jewish Federation staff members at the Lipa Green Center in North York. Why closure? As we ended our meeting, I asked to be taken to one of the higher floors in that complex. My mother, Zelda Lutstein, Aleha Hashalom, a fervent Zionist who retired with my dad to Israel in the 1990s, was a longtime UJA department head whose office was on that floor. As I walked along that floor, I remembered the blood, sweat, and tears she put into her work, her Malechet Kodesh, her sacred work, and I dedicate this drush to her memory. Friends, Chaverim, Katonti, I am unworthy. Shabbat Shalom.
Yesher koach here. Thank you for that. You say katanti, but we are grateful. We are grateful that you are in this position, serving as our voice and championing our values in Israel and around the world. It is those values that we hope to see around the world in a beautiful future, in a beautiful time. And so we turn now our thoughts and prayers to the words of Aleinu, imagining that potential world. Page 139. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tei gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim v'Yoser Aretz, U'moshav Yekaro b'Shamayim ima, U'shchinatu zo b'gavhei meromim. Hu Eloheinu ein od, Emet Malkeinu efes zulato, Kakatu b'Torato, v'yadata hayom v'hashevota elevovecha. Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim mima, ve'al haaretz mitachat ein od. V'nemar v'Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
You may be seated, though. I invite our mourners to remain standing, that we may extend our support and our condolences to you at this time. This evening, we mark the yahrzeits of the following: Helen Aaron, Leo Berman, Dina Blumenthal, Sally Bolton, Sidney Borchet, Arnold Sentner, Joyce Charendoff, Bessie Cohen, Arthur Cole, Sadie Cole, Henry Dan, Jack Diamond, Malcolm Dombrowski, Annie Eisen Abel, Simon Fines, Ellen Foster, Pansy Frankfurter, Gustav Freund, Carol Freund, Michael Garfield, Mark Geldzahler, Luba Ginsburg, Frank Godfrey, Harry Greenwood, Rhoda Grossman, Edith Harris, Jules Hoffman, Harold Eisenberg, Annie Jacobs, Herbert Kurtz, Mulka Lyons, Bessie Massey, David Merovic, Joyce Milrod, Grace Pape, Albert Polan, Theodore Rachlin, Esther Rottenberg, Muriel Rothschild, Rivka Sagi Buchwalter, Leslie Schatz, Reginald Selman, Saul Siegel, Harry Silverman, Harry Solway, Grace Soren, Gilda Stanway, Dora Sternberg, Harry Sugarman, Belle Switzer Tile, Anne Tile, Benjamin Teichler, Kirian Van Egelen, Samuel Weinstein, Alan Winters, Florence Wolfe. We recall those who have died most recently. Their families are in the days of Shloshim. They are Donna Francine Biederman, Judy Brewer, Zachary Jacobson, Randy Shaw, Rita Saram, Andrew Taylor, Betty Young, and the fallen soldiers of the land of Israel. It is with sadness that we report the passing of our member, Gary Goodman, husband of Gail Goodman, Zichrona Livracha, father of Ellen Blaney and Samuel Goodman. Are there names to be added to our memorial this evening? As one, we rise to offer Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 142. Yitgadal, v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, Amen. Be'alma divarach yiritei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam olamei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to the bereaved amongst us, amongst our people Israel in all lands near and far. Together we say,
Amen. Oh, say shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Kiddush can be found on page 439. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techilah L'mikra'e kodesh, zeicher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shavat kodshecha, b'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Amen. I saw a young friend at the beginning of the service. If there's any young friends still with us who want to come up for challah, I would appreciate your help. Okay. I'll take any friends I can get. Eze challah, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shalom alechem, malachei yesharei, malachei elyon, melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom alechem, malachei yesharei, malachei elyon, melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ba'uni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom lechem, malachei asherei, malachei elyon, melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you
Shabbat
for being with
shalom,
us.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbos, Shabbos.